Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another BioShock video. And a few weeks ago, I uploaded a video talking about the website. There's always a lighthouse, and I kind of looked at it, came up with some ideas what I think it could mean, if it's going to hint towards the new game BioShock 4 that should be coming out maybe next year or in a couple years, or maybe even this year. We're supposed to be getting like maybe some type of reveal. Maybe during the summertime, I guess, when maybe Comic-Con or some of the events go on during the summertime. Maybe we'll start getting some news when it's going to get released or anything like that. So, again, like I mentioned before, I'm just going to kind of briefly go over it. This is something that I have been doing for Call of Duty, not for them directly, not for Activision, but just for the Call of Duty community, where I look into stuff that maybe people have missed over the years, come up with maybe some solves or some Easter eggs that people looked over or overlooked and didn't make any connections. So this is kind of, again, like I said, I made a video a couple weeks ago, and this is gonna kind of maybe add an alternative view to it, maybe make some corrections to that, because, like I said, I was just going in kind of blind and kind of like raw footage of me trying to figure out what's the website all about, what it could be hinting at. And the website, as you guys know, is a website that 2K or Take-Two put up when the BioShock Infinite Collection came out, I think in 2016. I guess the alternative view, or maybe even a correction that I kind of want to start off with is that, again, a lot of people, including myself, a few weeks ago thought that it might be a hint to BioShock 4. And some of the rumors that I even agree with is that, BioShock started underneath the sea, then it went into the sky with BioShock Infinite, and then the next way or the next place to go would be outer space or have it tie into like science fiction. At the time, I thought maybe it had to do with like, baby Jesus or ancient aliens type stuff, where maybe Jesus came from another planet, crashed to Earth, and people were worshiping him as a god, but he was really just an alien that crashed to Earth. That's kind of like conspiracy stuff that some people go by. Even if you watch like the show, like I mentioned, Ancient Aliens, that's some ideas that people come up with. So at the time, a few weeks ago, I thought like maybe that's kind of what it was hinting at. And it would all make sense, and it would be a really amazing storyline, which I'm going to kind of keep that note on the side for a second, because I want to go over the storyline for BioShock 4 and some stuff that people might not know about. And just in case anybody hates on this, I mentioned, like I said, I do it for the Call of Duty side of things, and I at one point just ended up just saying and messaging the devs for Call of Duty. I'm like, hey, I kind of in a way just do this for them, because I understand content creators, they're all hating on each other because they all want their theory to be right. They all want to get noticed by the devs. They all want, to have the most subs and views and stuff like that. So it got to a point, and that's kind of where I'm probably at right now, where I'm like, hey, I'm just putting this up there to document it, maybe for the devs, to show that people are actually looking into the stuff, not just kind of spreading BS out there. And again, like, I'm not clickbaiting, so I'm correcting or maybe even giving an alternate view of what I saw, or a second viewing of what I saw when I looked at the website, and maybe start making some connections. Like I said, I mentioned the first time around that it looked like, there was a nun standing here, like over maybe seeing like what represented or represents, the nativity scene with Jesus and stuff like that. But what it looks like to me isn't really a hint to BioShock 4, but maybe was a hint to BioShock Infinite, because this is 2016, and I don't think there was really even a thought of BioShock 4 back then. Maybe they just thought about remastering it. Even remastering, from what I read, took a lot to do and took a lot of manpower and stuff like that and time. So I don't think BioShock 4 was even a thought at the time, like I mentioned. So what it looked like to me, like, and you would have to have known and noticed this stuff. What it looks like to me, is maybe it was a hint to Black Ops 2, because I mean, this might be a jaw-dropping, revelation for some people. That the storylines kind of are very similar to each other. Then I played it last night, and that's the thing too, where I know people are going to get upset. There's games that people have played thousands of times for years upon years, and maybe even decades now, because I think this came out like in 2012. Um, and BioShock came out way before, 10 years ago. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't catch on to, and then they get really upset when other people notice it or catch on to it. So if you look at the way how similar both of them are, I think it was more a hint to, Black Ops 2, or maybe paying homage to Black Ops 2, or dropping a hint like, hey, go. I knew this way before, a couple weeks ago. I noticed it, probably maybe even like a year ago. But again, it's the same thing. Didn't really even dawn on me until I played it again last night, and I myself even hate myself for figuring this stuff out way after the fact. But I don't think it necessarily is going to hint at BioShock 4, but maybe it was hinting at, BioShock Infinite. Maybe, hey, go play Black Ops 2, notice some, similarities, or we're paying homage to it. Maybe the devs, because that's the thing that people say. Devs are fans of video games, or they're, kids that grew up playing these video games, and then they, get jobs in the industry, and then they're like, they want to pay homage, to their favorite game, or maybe they had an idea for, the Black Ops series, and then now that they can create their own game, they want to kind of make like an alternate reality or multiverse. Maybe even think of it like Ready Player One or Wreck-It Ralph, where like all these video games are all in one big universe. So it looks like to me, and like I said, this is kind of a correction, or maybe even, saying to the devs like, hey, look, this might actually be something. And they know what the Easter eggs are, and a lot of the secrets are, locked shut, or kept really close, and it's kind of like you're not really supposed to help out anyone figure anything out, which they haven't, but um, it's just pretty amazing when I finally notice something myself, and that's the thing, like I said, people are really gonna kick themselves when they start seeing, some similarities. I don't know if they ever played the game or not played the game. But again, this is just kind of like another view or an idea of what the website could mean. And the only thing I want to talk about also is the storyline for BioShock 4, assuming it has nothing to do with outer space. I know the rumors are, um, it has to do with like Antarctica, and there's somebody who's stranded in Antarctica. Which sounds, and I'm not here to debunk anyone and create any enemies, but I'm curious who came up with that, leak or idea, because as far as the Call of Duty side is concerned, a lot of the big channels just spread clickbait to get clicks and views, or they'll have a buddy or a friend of theirs put out a fake tweet, and then they cover the fake tweet. It's like, let's say, and I mentioned this literally a couple days ago too. Like, let's say you have two friends, and you have like a million subs on YouTube. Is they're gonna tell those friends, hey, go on Twitter and create some fake news that you found, or you have an inside person that works for 2K, and say that you know what's coming in 2K, then I'm going to cover it, then I'm going to make a ton of money, then we can split the cash or something like that. So I'm not trying to debunk any of those people, but I am curious who came up with the idea or the quote-unquote leak that it's supposed to be in Antarctica, and the name of it is Isolation, because none of that really fits into, um, what BioShock is known for. I know they don't want. I know a lot of devs don't want to, repeat their work that they do and just make the same story and stuff over and over again. I know they want to try different things and newer things. But the way that I read it or saw a video about somebody explaining BioShock Isolation, even the name doesn't really jive. But on the other hand, or the flip side of the coin, is there's times in Call of Duty where we've said like, no, there's no way that's real, and then end up being like the real title. Maybe even like Vanguard, I think, leaked at one point. Cold War, the title leaked at one point. I think even Advanced Warfare, the title leaked at one point. I know there's times that we thought like, there's no way, that sounds too ridiculous to be a title for Call of Duty. Um, so my question is, and I'm not here to debunk or, like I said, create any enemies, is who came up with the idea of isolation? And the reason I say that too is studios and devs, and I'm talking mainly the Call of Duty side, they're always looking for inspiration or pay homage to the fans. Maybe even like what happened with Star Wars. The rise of Skywalker, and some of those stuff that end up in movies. Some of those come from the fans, or fan creations, or fan ideas, or fan theories. And the devs, want to pay appreciation to the fans, so they end up putting it in the game, or liking the idea and putting it into the game. So, with all that being said, the only thing I want to mention to people is, don't be scared to put any theories out there, because the devs are always looking for ideas and theories, and it might not be for the main campaign, but it might be for like a DLC, or it might be for something like that. And you think of even Elizabeth from the BioShock Infinite, how the girl who did the cosplay for Elizabeth ended up, becoming part of the whole BioShock series. Is that, like, she ended up doing cosplay, and then they ended up liking it, and they ended up putting her in the game and stuff like that. So again, don't listen. What I'm basically getting at is, don't listen to any haters and other content creators. They're gonna crap on your idea or theories, because devs are always looking for ideas and theories, and stuff like that. You could come up with the most passionate, ridiculous idea, and they might like it and put it in the game. So, um, like, that being said, again, like, I don't know who came up with the isolation, quote unquote, leak, or the idea of isolation. But I'm wondering if anybody out there has any other theories or ideas what Bioshock 4 might be about. Again, the reason I say Antarctica, because it wouldn't make sense. Maybe it's a planet that looks like Antarctica, and maybe the person's thinking that's going to be Antarctica. Maybe it's an ice planet, because there is probably 100% chance that it's going to be based out of space. Because you think about, again, it started under the ocean, um, with Rapture, then it went to Columbia in the sky. The next only other place, unless it's, I know it has to do with maybe a dimension or the fourth dimension. I know we kind of covered that in Infinite, but like, the only other place to go would be outer space or another planet, making it really super science fiction, or maybe in the future. Maybe even Infinite being in the past, a Rapture being in the present time, and maybe the next one being in the future. Maybe even tying in, maybe the website does connect to Black Ops, and it has to do with the near future or the future, maybe 2065 or whatever. So that could be the other thing. Could be outer space in the future on another ice planet, not necessarily, or the ice planet might be called Antarctica. Maybe it relates to Antarctica in the U.S. Let's say we discover a planet and it's really hot. More than likely, you're probably going to name that planet after something on the U.S. that's hot, like Arizona. Like, you would come across a planet in another universe, not dimension, galaxy, and then you might name it like Arizona or something like that. So maybe they came across an ice planet, far away or distant ice planet, and they just decide to name it Antarctica, and maybe somebody is colonizing it, or there's an astronaut there in Antarctica and stuff like that in the future. That would all make sense. Some of the stuff that I've read, uh, like I said, there's a lot of people that realize they just put a bunch of BS on the internet, and it makes a ton of money, especially when you have like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers. You just generate anything, any clickbait or rumor, and it makes a ton of money. But anyways, again, this is more just for the devs to see what they might think about it, or what they're planning, and then also to see what other people are planning, if they have any ideas for the storyline. other than the isolation storyline, and other than, I mean, space and isolation do go hand in hand also. And again, I'm just doing it to document it and then look back at it in the future to see how accurate or close I was. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.